You want abs in 60 days. Not better posture, not a stronger core, not feeling the burn. You want to look down and see actual lines on your stomach instead of one smooth blur of disappointment under bathroom lighting. Fair enough. But this is exactly where people get scammed by fitness internet. Because most AB advice is basically some version of do this brutal 10-minute killer workout, while a guy with 8% body fat shakes on a mat like he's fighting demons. And sure, it looks intense. So does falling down the stairs. That doesn't mean it builds muscle. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear, because it's less exciting than one weird trick. Abs show up when two things happen at the same time. You get lean enough to reveal them, and you build the actual abdominal muscles enough for them to show clearly once the fat comes off. That's it. Not magic, not detox tea, not 400 bicycle crunches while your hip flexors do all the work. A lot of people only understand the first half. They think abs are just about losing fat. And yes, body fat matters. A lot. If you're carrying too much fat around your waist, your abs are not going to show, no matter how hard you contract them in the mirror. For most men, abs usually start becoming visible somewhere around the 10 to 20% body fat range. For women, it's more like 18 to 28%. That's the general zone where your stomach can actually start looking defined, instead of just pretty flat, if the lighting is generous. But even that's not the full story, because getting lean only reveals what's already there. If your abs are underdeveloped, getting shredded won't suddenly produce this clean superhero six-pack. It might just reveal a slightly flatter stomach. Which is still better, obviously, but not the dramatic transformation most people are expecting after suffering through grilled chicken and sadness for 8 weeks. And genetics play a role too. Some people have a clean six-pack, some have a four-pack, some have asymmetrical abs that look like they were installed by a distracted contractor. You do not get to negotiate with your genetics. You can't train your way from a four-pack into a six-pack just because you believe in yourself really hard. But you can make whatever structure you have look much better by training it properly and getting lean enough for it to show. That's the part most people skip. They either do endless random AB circuits with zero resistance, or they ignore abs completely because someone online told them, you don't need to train abs, just lose fat. Which is such a weird argument when you think about it. Nobody says, don't train shoulders, just get lean and they'll pop. Nobody says, don't train arms. Your biceps are already in there somewhere. But with abs, suddenly, people act like they're this magical muscle group that should develop through wishful thinking and compound lifts alone. No, abs are muscles. Muscles respond to tension, progression, and effort, same as everything else. So if you want abs in 60 days, you need a plan that does 3 things at once. It has to build the muscle strip enough fat to reveal it, and do both without wrecking your strength, your energy, or your sanity by week 3. And this is exactly where most people mess it up. So let's make this stupidly simple. To get abs to show, you need less fat covering your stomach. To make them look better when they do, show, you need to actually train them like a muscle, instead of punishing yourself with random floor flopping from YouTube in 2016. That means your AB training should look a lot more like normal hypertrophy training and a lot less like cardio with identity issues. You do not need 14 exercises. You do not need a killer core finisher. You need one loaded crunch variation and one leg raise variation. That's basically the whole thing. A cable crunch or a weighted crunch gives your abs something they can actually work against. Novel concept. I know. You're flexing the spine, shortening the abs, and creating real tension where it matters. Then you pair that with leg raises, ideally in a setup where you can control your body, instead of swinging around like a wet towel on a pull-up bar. That combination works because it covers the main job of the abs, while giving you enough tension to grow them. And growth matters here. If your abs are thicker and more developed, they push out more. Which means when body fat comes down, they become visible faster and look sharper. That's why 2 people can be at the same body fat, and one looks defined while the other looks like they just skipped dessert for a week. The key is progression. You want your crunches loaded and controlled for around 10 to 12 reps. You want your leg raises controlled for around 10 to 20 reps. A couple sessions a week is enough, not every day. Your abs are not a magical recovery species. Train them hard. Recover, come back stronger. Same rules as chest back, anything else. On the final set, get close to failure or hit it cleanly. Not fake failure where the rep turns into a seizure and you call it intensity. Actual failure where you cannot do another good rep. And no, planks are not the star of this story. Planks are fine. They help with general core stability. They just aren't the best tool if your goal is visible abs. That's like bringing a Swiss Army knife to chop down a tree. Useful tool, wrong job. Now let's talk about the other side of this, because this is the side people avoid until they realize no amount of crunches can out-train body fat. If you want abs in 60 days, your diet has to stop being based on vibes. You need a calorie deficit. That means eating fewer calories than you burn, so your body starts pulling from stored energy, which is a very polite way of saying your body has to burn body fat. If that doesn't happen, your abs stay under the blanket. You can have the strongest abs in the world, but if there's too much fat covering them, nobody's seeing anything. Least of all you. A practical starting point is to take your current body weight in pounds and multiply it by around 10 to 12 for daily calories. That gives you a rough fat loss intake, not a sacred number. A starting point. Then, set protein based on your goal body weight around 0.8 to 1 gram per pound. Protein helps you keep muscle while dieting, recover better, and stay fuller, which becomes very important once your brain starts romanticizing donuts like they're a lost love. Fat should stay reasonable too. Don't slash it into the floor just because you're in a rush. Around 50 grams a day as a minimum floor is a solid baseline for most people. The rest of your calories can come from carbs and fats, however you prefer, because despite what diet tribalists on the internet would like you to believe, your body does not care about their personality disorder. What matters most is total calories, enough protein, and whether you can actually stick to the plan. And this is where a lot of people quietly ruin everything. They cut calories way too hard because they want abs yesterday. So weight drops fast, gym performance tanks, hunger goes insane, and then 2 weeks later, they're face down in a delivery app, ordering enough food to feed a minor kingdom. That's why your rate of loss matters. You want roughly 0.5 to 1% of your body weight lost per week. Fast enough to see progress, slow enough to keep muscle, and avoid turning your diet into a psychological crime scene. And once you understand that, the whole process starts making a lot more sense. Because now you're not guessing anymore. You're building the abs and uncovering them at the same time. Now, here's the part people usually hate, because it's less flashy than supplements, and less fun than pretending ab circuits are a personality trait. You do not fail this process because your body is broken. You usually fail it because you either rush it, track it badly, or quit right before it starts working. That's why the scale can mess with your head so badly. You'll have weeks where your weight barely moves and suddenly you assume nothing is happening. Meanwhile, your waist is shrinking, your stomach looks tighter, and your abs are slowly starting to come through. But because the scale didn't give you a dramatic movie moment, you think the plan stopped working. It didn't. You're just using one noisy metric to judge a process that needs context. Take progress photos, same lighting, same pose, same level of honesty. Measure your waist too, because fat loss is not always linear on the scale, especially if you're training hard, holding more water, or gaining a tiny bit of muscle while dieting. Your body does not care that you want a daily emotional reassurance. And while we're here, let's kill another dumb idea. Leaner is not always better. A lot of people say they want abs, but what they actually mean is they want to be absurdly shredded year-round, with zero downside, which is adorable. For most people, there's a sweet spot where your abs are visible, and your life still feels normal. You have energy. You can focus. Your sleep doesn't suck. Your libido hasn't packed its bags and left. Once you push too far below that, things get weird fast. Hunger ramps up mood drops, workouts feel worse, and suddenly your dream physique starts acting like a full-time job with terrible benefits. So yes, get lean enough for your abs to show, but don't chase stage-conditioned body fat like it's the only version that counts. The goal is to look good and function like a normal human, not become a tired museum exhibit of veins and food obsession. Supplements can help a little, but let's keep them in their lane. Protein powder is useful because it makes hitting your protein target easier. Not magical, just convenient. Creatine is one of the few supplements that actually earns its reputation. 5 grams a day. That's it. No loading phase, no weird cycling ritual. No need to treat it like moon dust. And caffeine helps with alertness and training performance, which is great as long as you don't start needing 3 scoops of pre-workout just to emotionally survive leg day. But none of those fix a bad plan. If your training has no progression, your diet has no structure, and your expectations are completely detached from biology, the tub of powder on your kitchen counter is not your problem solver. It's just an expensive witness. So, if you want abs in 60 days, focus on what actually moves the needle. Train your abs with resistance. Get into a sensible calorie deficit. Eat enough protein. Add some cardio if it helps you stay active. And keep your calorie budget livable. Lose weight at a pace you can sustain. Track progress like an adult. Then keep going long enough for the boring stuff to work. Because that's the real difference. Not hacks. Not genetics panic. Not some secret fat-burning shortcut from a guy with a ring light and no shirt. Just consistency done correctly for long enough. You're probably closer than you think. You just need to stop restarting the process every time it stops feeling exciting.